Hey guys, Lunar here. With only a few weeks to go, I thought I would gather all of the information I could find to make a list of 10 facts you should probably know before playing No Man's Sky. So let's not waste any time and get straight into number 10. The game is big, really big. In fact, it's estimated that there are around 18 quintillion planets to explore in the game, and if you spent just 1 second on each planet, it would take 585 billion years to visit each one, and that's without the time travel between each one. However, these planets were not made manually, instead they were procedurally generated. Procedurally generated meaning it uses an algorithm to generate landscapes rather than the landscapes being created manually by the creators. This is an important part of the game, as not only does it make the size of the game extremely small, it also means that every planet in the game has a chance of being completely unique. This includes all star systems, planets, ecosystems, flora, fauna, behavioral patterns, artificial structures, alien factions, spacecrafts, space stations, and much more. The game's audio, including ambient sounds, its underlying soundtrack are also procedurally generated, meaning you probably won't be hearing the same music repeated over and over while you play. However, the game isn't completely random. While each planet in the game can be unique, they still must abide by certain laws to ensure that the game is consistent throughout the universe, such as planet density, the temperature of the stars, the density of flora and fauna, meaning whether a planet is barren or abundant with life, and so on. Finally, to navigate the universe, you will use a galactic map. This allows you to navigate the universe, its galaxies, and the solar systems within it. The map allows you to fly around quickly to inspect different stars and planets, and gather information, such as whether the planet has been discovered. The map is also split into factions, with the different colours representing the different parts of the universe, which are controlled by different NPC races, and we'll talk about that later. The game is an open universe, meaning no matter what you see in the game, you can literally travel there, whether it's an awesome looking creature in the distance, or a distant planet you could travel to, with absolutely no loading screens in between, including entering and exiting planet atmospheres, so the game mechanics are definitely impressive. As we already know, the game has over 18 quintillion planets to explore, and each one comes with its own sizes, colours, and biomes. Each planet orbits around a star, so that each planet in the game will have a night and day. The time of day on the planet depends on the position and rotation of the planet relative to a nearby sun. As a planet rotates, the time of day will change. The day-night cycle is not artificial, it is calculated as the game plays. Each planet in the game comes with its unique biome, including weather, flora, fauna, mountains, rivers, canyons, lakes, beaches, forests, and structures, and resources. Although each planet will be different, it's completely possible that the planet you come across is completely barren. The distance of the planet from the star does obviously take into account the type of biome generated. If your planet is really close to the sun, then having a really icy world wouldn't make any sense. The atmosphere can vary and will affect the colour of the sky, and even make the air toxic, meaning you will need a spacesuit to survive. Each planet will only have one type of biome. While this might not be the most immersive way to make the game, it's to encourage people not to spend too long on one planet and go out and explore the entire universe, as it's essentially what the game is about. As Sean Murray stated, planets can be up to Earth size, and you could spend months just exploring one planet. So with one biome, it can easily get boring after a little while, and so you can just move on, so you don't spend too long in one place. The distance of planets in the game are relatively close to each other, as spending hours traveling between planets would become tedious fast. To ensure you never waste your time, every planet in the game is explorable, so that means unfortunately there are no gas giants in the game. Some cool features still remain in the solar systems, like rings around planets and moons orbiting some of them as well. The game also contains many different types of stars, which will affect the type of planet generated, including some types of stars that don't exist in real life. So the game is a mixture of real life and fiction, and leaves many questions unanswered about what is actually in the universe, like are there things like black holes and supernovas. Sean Murray did make the point that the game is not a space simulator, so we're just going to have to wait and see when we play the game. All species in the game are procedurally generated, meaning that most likely every creature you come across will be unique. Some animals will be small, some huge, some bright, some dull, etc. Not all animals in the game are passive and will attack you, and yes, you can die in the game. Once you discover a new species, you have the option to name it. Unfortunately, none of the animals in the game are actually tameable, so you can't have a pet following you around the universe. Plants are also procedurally generated, and they come in many different forms, shapes, colours, including grasses, trees, and shrubs. If you thought a planet with only plants and no animals would be relatively safe, then guess again, as some plants are carnivorous. Like real life, all plants and animals in the game can be killed or destroyed and used for resources. If you want to wipe out an entire species on a planet, then you are free to do so, although your actions will not go unchecked. The universe is patrolled by self-replicating machines or robots that protect certain planets in the universe. They will be passive so long as you keep your resource gathering to a minimum, but if you start to upset the balance of the planet, like trying to wipe out an entire species, then they will start to hunt you down. When you do certain things like mining or kill an animal, you get a wanted level style like you get in GTA with stars. The more you do, the higher the level, the more sentinels will attack you, and the more difficult they will become. In order to be able to craft things in the game, you're first going to need resources. Resources can be gathered on all planets, usually from mining rock or from certain plants and animals. Much like each planet only having one biome, the number of resources on each planet is also limited, again to encourage exploration so you don't spend too long in one place. Although it's not just planets that resources can be gathered, you can get them from moons or asteroids floating around in space, you can destroy spaceships and steal their cargo, or you could trade them at local traders at space stations and trading posts. Trading posts and space stations are essentially the marketplaces of the game. Buy and sell resources and compounds, buy new items or a new ship. Both space stations and trading posts come with various levels which determine the quality of goods they have available at them, although it's unknown exactly what determines the quality of a space station or trading post. In order to purchase things from a trader, you will need units, which are the in-game currency, which can be gathered by discovering new species, mining for resources, then selling them, trading items between systems, fighting and destroying other ships, and much more. To ensure that the player never gets stuck in a solar system with no spaceship, the space stations cannot be destroyed, so you can always find one in every solar system in the game. A game about space travel is definitely going to require you to have a ship, and flying around is one of the main parts of the game. Ships allow the player to store resources, get around, fight in space battles, reach the center of the galaxy, and trade. At the start of the game, you start with a basic ship. Using resources, you can trade for units to purchase your first ship with a hyperdrive engine, allowing FTL travel, or faster than light if you didn't already know, to be able to travel between stars. As you would expect, your engine requires fuel, which can be gathered from asteroids, planets, or purchased from a trader on a space station like any other resource. If you run out of fuel halfway between stars, your ship will stop halfway through your jump, so make sure that you're fully prepared before you jump into FTL. There are three main types of ships that we currently know about. They are a fighter, which are light, symmetrical, so you can maneuver easier and use evasive tactics when necessary. They also have better damage, so you can destroy enemy ships. Trader ship, which is bigger and slower, allowing for more resources and storage capability. It does, however, have a bigger and better weapons and defenses to make up for its reduced speed. And finally, our Explorer, which has improved stealth and hyperdrive abilities to allow for quick and easy travel. There may also be a fourth type of ship called the Science Ship, although the information on this is still a little bit murky. In order to upgrade your ships, you can do so by getting upgrades for credits at a trader, or you can use upgrade blueprints and gather necessary materials and compounds and make the upgrade yourself. Many ships' components can be upgraded, including the hyperdrive, instruments, fuel capability, ammo, defensive mechanisms, and much more. The upgrades will vary based on the type of ship being modified, and all of these things can be fully upgraded just by collecting resources and upgrading. There are 4 technology upgrade categories for ships: armor, hyperdrive, scan technology, and weapons technology. Space in the game is full of hazards, and so a good weapons system is going to be handy. Aiming in the game is going to be relatively easy. Just aim as best you can at your target and a guidance system will take over. The game isn't designed to be incredibly difficult, so spaceflight and fighting with your spaceship is designed so that anyone can use it. Each ship will have varying amounts of weapons and weapon types such as lasers, plasma guns, torpedoes, each doing something different to enemy ships, and each weapon has a different amount of cooldown time. The universe is also full of AIs, and they also come with their own ships. One's unobtainable by players, the different factions have their own ships, space pirates have their own ships, and so on. Much like the Sentinels on planet, there's also space police that will attack you when you attack other ships in space. They also come with their own types of ships. The player is equipped with several tools to help you in your exploration, and they are all combined into what is known as your multi-tool. It allows the player to scan for and mine resources, as well as attack any foes they come across with a laser, and it even fires grenades. The full functionality of the multi-tool is still to be seen. I guess we will just have to wait and see until the full game releases. You also have other gadgets and items to help you throughout your exploration. A thermal suit that allows you to survive extreme temperatures for a short while, a backpack where you can store all of your items, a flashlight so you can explore cave systems underground. It also works underwater. Binoculars so you can see into the distance, and at some point you can even get a jetpack to get around easier when you're out of your ship. Like most stuff in the game, everything isn't immediately available. You have to make everything using blueprints and resources. Blueprints can be found in many places, including underwater, in caves, in crashed ships, and so on. You can also buy them off of trading NPCs. By discovering better blueprints, you will unlock crafting for better components. This in turn means you can upgrade your suit, ship, or weapons without having to buy an entirely new one. You can also break down your items for resources if you want to do so to put them towards something else. If you never come across another player, you might think you'll feel lonely, but the game has a vast amount of procedurally generated NPCs that you can interact with in most solar systems. The alien races can be fully interacted with, however it won't be as simple as going up and saying hello, as obviously they don't speak the same language as you. You can start to learn a language by finding monoliths on planets. Once you interact with it, some of the words of that language will start to make sense to the player. This will give you a better idea of what the NPCs are saying. You can sometimes find a helpful NPC that will help you learn the language. If you understand the language well enough, you'll have a good idea of what options to choose when you interact with the alien NPCs. When you first come across someone, say like a trader who is an alien, the entire language will just be gibberish. So essentially when you interact with them, you will just be guessing to begin with, or you could try and use different gestures, making yourself seem more important than you really are. Although the outcome of the interaction might be favourable, but it may also result in the alien getting annoyed with you. NPCs in the game will belong to procedurally generated factions, which as we spoke about previously, will cover large distances of the universe, with each faction having its own territory marked on the galactic map. You can either make allies with these factions by say trading or helping defend a faction ship from pirate attack. This will increase your affinity with the faction and will result in better loot and rewards, and even the ability to summon wingmen when you're out in space and you need some backup. But if you want to, you can play the other way and you can make enemies of these enemy factions, but then you will have to be careful when you enter into their territory. The game has no real story, but you do have a purpose in the universe. Obviously the exact reason is unknown until we begin to explore, but one thing we do know that plays a big part in the game's overall story is the Atlas. The big diamond shaped thing which serves as a logo for the game. Essentially the Atlas is a large database that houses all the information gathered by players in the game, such as the names of new discoveries. Every time you upload something to the Atlas, you are rewarded with units to spend at traders, with more credits being rewarded for rarer finds or discoveries on hostile planets. If you die in the game, all discoveries that haven't been uploaded to the Atlas will be lost. So the actual story of the game is remaining tight-lipped, and it's up to the player to go out and explore the universe and discover the story from themselves. One thing we do know is that the main aim of the game is to reach the center of the universe. At the minute, some have speculated that Atlas is in fact the thing at the center of the universe, but currently we don't know until someone reaches it. Before we go on to number 1, I want to mention a little bit about how the game works. Technically No Man's Sky is a multiplayer game, but it's not technically an MMO, working on a type of lobby system rather than everyone existing in the same space at once, so presumably you're grouped together with those closest to you, rather than the players on your friends list for example, if you're on PS4. However, your friends will appear on the galactic map, but depending on how far away they are from you when you begin, it's possibly you will never reach them, or anyone. In fact, it's entirely possible to play the game without coming across a single person because of the immense size of the universe. And even if you do manage to come across someone, for example you and your friend discovered the same planet, the planets are so incredibly big that it might even be impossible for you to find the exact same place to meet up on that planet. So while the game seems like a multiplayer game or an MMO, it is in fact more designed for players to go off and play on their own. This is why the game also includes an offline mode, so you don't have to be connected to the internet in order to actually play this game, the only difference being that your discoveries won't be uploaded to the Atlas unless you are online. Although all the discoveries that you do make will be uploaded to Atlas if you connect to online, so you don't have to worry about finding things if you lose your connection. So number 1, the big question, what is the game all about? What can I do once I start playing? Well, as we know, the ultimate goal of the game is to reach the center mass of the universe, but how you actually play the game while you're traveling there is up to you. The game focuses on 3 main pillars, and they are explore, fight, and trade. You can choose to play the game following all 3 of these pillars, or you can specialize in just one and forget about the rest. It's up to you. So let's take a deeper look into each of these pillars and what exactly they entail. The main part of the game, and something that everyone will do in some way or another, is explore. It's what the game is all about. The secondary part of the game is to collect resources and money in order to get better ships and equipment, in order for you to survive so you can reach the center of the universe. All these things can be done simply by exploration. As you discover new things, you can trade the information with the Atlas for units, which can then be spent at traders. So it's entirely possible to play the game solely exploring. One thing to mention while exploring is you have access to a minimap at the bottom of the screen, which will have waypoints marked on it for you on every single planet you visit. They will include things of interest, which might be resources, crashed ships, some sort of beacons. It could be something to discover like a new species of creature, a mountain range, or a vast lake. But all of this information can be traded with Atlas in order to get much needed units for trading. Another way to play the game is to take what you need from other people, mostly NPCs. When you destroy a ship in space, all of its cargo is dropped and can be collected by the player. So if you have dreams of being a space pirate and you don't mind being hated by everyone in the universe, it's an entirely possible way to play the game without relying on anyone else. Firing on trade ships, destroying players, fighting pirates, and laying waste from orbit are all a major part of No Man's Sky. So this is an entirely possible way of playing the game, just taking all the stuff you need from other people. The third pillar is trading and crafting. Gather resources, craft new items, and sell your stuff at the local trader, with rarer items fetching more value. So you have the option to play this way, or any of the other ways, or you could play all 3 at once. It's really up to you. One final part of the gameplay of the game focuses on survival. The game is designed to be challenging at times, and dangers can be found all throughout the universe that will test your abilities. Get too close to a carnivorous plant, walk too far from your ship on a toxic planet, or get ambushed by space pirates, your fuel is too low. It might seem at times like the whole universe is out to get you, so remember to be vigilant and be smart, and you'll be fine, especially as you travel closer and closer to the center of the universe, as planets will start to get more wild and crazy the closer you get. So there we have it, 10 facts you should probably know about No Man's Sky before you buy it. I tried to make all the information as accurate as possible. If I missed something, let everyone know in the comments below, I'm sure they're happy to hear it. If you enjoyed the video, or you're interested in any type of game guides, then hit subscribe now, and I will see you all next time for more No Man's Sky videos. See you then.